like I said, I woke up early and I didn't want to wake anyone up because everyone's in the house knocked out. Like, a couple of the kids are in the living room, so if I even with the door shut in the office, they would probably hear me. So I was like, plus it feels good outside, so I'm like, let me go sit in the car and chill for a little bit. So a little different
Yeah.
scenery today.
So
Yeah, I respect that.
we just had Valentine's Day, right? And so me and the wife were listening to some new age R&B, because obviously there's a lot of the old school stuff from the 90s and 2000s, but we were having a conversation about who you're feeling as like the new age like R&B act that you like, like there's the Lucky Day, Leon Thomas is now hot. You got
Yeah,
Giveon, you got Sir, you got Kenyon Dixon. I don't know if you've heard him
of
before.
course.
You got October London. Like there's
Mhm.
plenty of dudes, whatever, and some of them are more active than others, but it's like these are like the new, king of R&B types. So who are y'all feeling is like that's the vibe, the bag. For me personally, I like Sir's last album. I think it's the production mixed with the vocals mixed with what he gives you. He probably sounds dope live. I don't know for sure, but
Yeah.
uh, the
Well,
other
for me,
artists don't.
everybody you named minus Giveon, I personally still don't get the Giveon train. I get it; he's got like a unique voice, but I still am not the biggest fan of his music. But Kenyon Dixon, I mentioned his last album, his little EP. I love that EP. In addition to all those men you mentioned, Kevin Ross is I'm a huge
Okay,
Kevin
yeah,
Ross
yeah.
fan. Um, Pretty much every single person you named, and then like obviously the women are R&B too. Kiana Lede, Amber Mark, Victoria Monet, SZA, of course, um, Summer Walker.
Yes.
Like, I think right now R&B is in a wonderful space. I think it's in a fire space.
Holly
So
Richmond.
I don't do that. I don't do that. As a culture vulture, get that dude out of here.
So no, but Lucky Day. Did you like his last project? Like, because Quincy, I,
Algorithm.
I know Quincy, you're big in R&B. Do you listen to these dudes? Are
Lucky
they?
Day's last
Yeah,
album,
so
Algorithm, is amazing.
so I'm almost on the same boat as you guys. Like as far as Lucky, Giveon. I haven't heard of the you said what's his name, Kevon Dixon, or what's the
Kenyon
Ken,
dude's
Dixon,
name?
yeah.
Yeah, I
Kenyon
haven't heard
Dixon.
him yet. Unless I heard it on Pandora and I didn't notice the name, so I haven't heard him. But the other artists I like, but it's just weird with me. Like there's nobody that I heard that super stands out where I just play their music back to back all day. Like some artists back in the day I used to listen to, like, hey, I can back in the day I used to listen to Joe all the time, or I can listen to Kim all the time, or I can listen to um whoever like Maxwell or what have you all the time. Like I can just play the music. There's not one artist that I constantly listen to, but I listen to all of them like intermittently, kind of thing. Like I just like put this track on, that track on. Or I'll play this one, I'll play that one. But there's nobody that I just like. Oh, I'm gonna focus on this person all day, kind of thing. And maybe
I think
I don't know, maybe that's just the mentality right now with this, goldfish mentality where, hey, you just can't get into one person right now. I need to try to focus on one, but I just haven't focused on one person yet.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think
and
I,
so
oh, go
Don,
ahead.
you said you liked the algorithm album, but I thought it was okay. Lucky Days algorithm. I liked his Table for Two, whatever, a lot better. Um, so I don't know. Sometimes you just like a project and then you don't like, or that's what you're expecting going in. Obviously,
Yes.
this last Drake and Party Next Door, like when you start with track one, CN Tower, I think that's gonna sound a certain way, and then it starts going all over the place. I'm like, all right, like I don't know what I was expecting, but maybe that was my fault for thinking this was gonna be something it wasn't. So
No, I feel you. Well, the Algorithm album, it was a little different from his last couple bodies of work. And I think that's why I like that. I think he tried something different, and it worked. It worked. Now it's not your classic typical Lucky Day sound, and I get that. And I will even admit it took me probably a couple of listens to understand the where he was going to. You know what I mean? But because I like Lucky Day, I give him the respect to try more than once. Like there's certain artists, like if I listen to your album once and I don't like it, that's it. But there's other ones that like I'll give you the respect. If I really like you, I'm gonna try again to maybe see if I can see where you're trying to take the culture, see what route you were trying to go. And with Algorithm, I did that. The Party Next Door and Drake album to me is super mid, super mid. Um, and I'm a Drake. I like Drake. Drake's a good. I'm a fan. I won't say fan, but I'm a casual fan. It was just okay for me. I've never really been a huge Party Next Door fan, so maybe that's something to do with it. Um, I'm not one of the guys out here saying this is what you're doing after the beef. I don't care about that. I'm not trying to tie Drake and Kendrick together. I'm trying to solely like, that's over for that. That was 2024. So now Drake, get back to the music. This was just okay for me at best. Like there's maybe three or
Yeah.
four standouts, but nothing that I would probably go back to.
Yeah.
I
And
feel
you
you.
guys know me, I'm not really in my bag from the R&B side for the most part. So it's funny when you mentioned all those names. I'm like, which of those people have I even listened to? And the ones that I listened to is like, all right, yeah, I actually will. Like, I dig their music, so maybe I probably should expand more. But uh, Giveon, ironically, I actually do enjoy Giveon's voice, so that's cool. Like, I think I got like one album download or something like that, but I haven't revisited it in forever.
Yeah.
Um, October London, definitely love that as far as the old refresh of like, like that soul gospel like kind of music and whatnot, which was very refreshing for me. Kind of ironic days with Death Row Records and Snoop. That's crazy, but whatever. And then Daniel Caesar. Daniel Caesar, like he hasn't done
Mhm.
anything in a minute, I feel like, but I really liked his voice too. So for the
Yeah, he
fellas,
was
R&B wise, that'd probably be what I'd go with. And then for the females, I'd have to look back in my catalog because it's been forever since I've like downloaded something new or recent from a female in the R&B realm. Mostly it's gonna be like pop related stuff, and it's like, yeah, I don't want to equate the two or put it in that same category.
It's funny you mentioned Daniel Caesar because he came out like the same time as her, and I remember they had that kind of like duet together. And I don't
Yeah,
know, for
that was
some
a dope
reason, I
track.
just could not get into him.
What?
I, for some reason, I was just hating on his style, his voice. Like,
Dog,
I just was not into it.
Daniel
So
Caesar is fire.
he was one of
Unfortunately
those that
for
I
him,
like what you were talking about. Like, I gave him a listen to his first album, listen to maybe one of his other singles, and I was like, it's just not it. So I stopped trying.
wow, no,
Mm.
Daniel Caesar actually is super talented and puts out really good music. Unfortunately for him, he got canceled a few years ago for saying some, I guess, I wasn't really ignorant. He was being himself, but that's why you don't really hear of him because he got
Mm.
unfortunately canceled during cancel culture. But no, that duet with her, best part, I love that song. And then his first single, "Get You" with Caliucci, like, come on, what are we talking about? That is an absolute classic. I like Daniel Caesar and I like his style. It's just unfortunate, his career kind of tanked or whatever. But he still puts out good
Yeah.
music. He put out a single a couple weeks ago, and it's not bad. It's good. Plus, he was on Chromacopia, with Tyler. So no, I like Daniel Caesar. So that was a good. That's a good name that I forgot to mention.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that too when I was thinking of names. I was like, I couldn't think of his name for a second. And that was funny. I was talking about him a week or so ago because I was listening to that the best part, and I was like, dude, I haven't heard anything from him in a minute. But yeah, he's actually clean. I like his style, I like his voice. I liked his first album. That's the only album I listened to of his was his first one. But he's clean.
That's crazy. The so then Brian, you just don't listen to R&B on a regular? Like what does it take to put that in the rotation?
So it's music in general. So like I'm probably like the complete opposite of you and Don, where like I'm not seeing music, or seeking out music on the regular. So everything is like coincidental for me. At times when I am in the car, I will I will actually turn on the radio if I'm again I don't have the time to like put them or set up my setup, you know what I mean? And so on occasion, they may actually, as I'm flipping through radio stations, come up on something new and be like, oh, this is dope. Who is this? You get your Shazam or whatever, and you find out who it is. And then if it's good enough, yeah, I'll seek it out in that sense. Otherwise, if I'm watching a movie or something and like the background music on the soundtrack is something, like so it's by coincidence in the sense I'm just like living my regular life. I just stumble upon it, or if I'm searching the web and go to this one person, they're featuring this person on their music. So then, like, you listen to the feature, then you listen to one of their tracks, etc. Um, or more importantly, like, just having these Zoom meetings where you guys mention this person, this person, this person. I know like Lucky Day has been referenced for pretty much since we started doing this, I want to say, as far as the Zoom meetings, but in all that time, I have not listened to one Lucky Day track whatsoever.
Wow.
I
See
hear,
that?
I hear. It's like, oh, maybe I should. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I'm like, dang, well, like by the time I get to that, I still need to go through all the like the rap stuff that you guys be referencing as well, and so it's me just trying to pick and choose my battles as far as what do I want to seek out, and maybe I'm missing something, but like for example, Lucky Days mentioned a whole lot of times like good album, fire album, this, but then like once or twice somebody mentioned October London, and because the mentioning of October London referenced like again kind of like that like the Return of Marvin Gaye, and like it's like, all right, yeah, I know that's like music that I enjoy, so I'll go seek that out. So if someone were to tell me like, oh, like Lucky Day is like Genuine, or like some, if there's some comparison to somebody and I know that I liked that person's music, then maybe I'd be like, oh yeah, like that's more reason for me to like seek that person out. Or if like again, when at the end of the year we always do like the album of the year, I always take that into consideration, like, oh, that's the album of the year for that person. That must be really good. Okay, I'll go ahead and like, listen to that. That's how I listened to Rock Marciano, and that's how I found out Rock Marciano is not my cup of tea, and Harold has bad taste in music. Nah, nah. I'm messing. But yeah, that's the
Oh,
thing. So I
different
don't
strokes.
seek out R&B unless it's like someone or something I know from the past.
So that's funny because like we were kind of talking about that last time, and you kind of said that like, and that was quote unquote the New Year's resolution as far as you are going to start doing it more, start listening more based on what we reviewed and what we talked about. So that's
Yeah.
mine too, because like I'm the same. Like when Harold and Don be going over and stuff like albums. I'm like, dude, I didn't even know this artist existed. Like I didn't even know who's what name. Like, y'all got names and albums and like, dude, I'm not on that level, but I'm gonna. That's one of my things too. This time, I'm gonna start doing it, and I started the same with that Rock Marciano. Harold put it on there. It's like, hey, this is kind of like the best of his album, and I got through like half of it, and I'm honestly the same as you. I'm not really feeling him. I don't know. I don't like his cadence. I don't like his wordplay. It's not. I don't think he's horrible, but it's just not some artist that I would play all the time.
Yeah.
I'll try to get through the whole thing. I just haven't yet because I was like, eh, I don't know. I don't like
I
his.
think what I'd like about it, I guess, is there's been this push towards the Griselda sound, and they got the West Side Gun, the Benny the Butcher, the Conway the Machine, and they have a certain flow and cadence, and also like production style of like a
Hmm.
lot of times
Mhm.
it's no drums, all kind of melodic, and he just kind of did that style beforehand and better, and so it's
Yeah.
like going to the roots of where that started and someone that's actually doing it better. That's just why I just prefer the soul samples he does, kind of the bravado and swagger he has with it. So
No, I
So
agree.
I like the production. The production's actually clean. That's the best part of what I heard from him. Like I like the production. I like the beats. I like the style. I just don't. I just didn't feel his lyrics. I guess I don't know. Like I said, I guess I can. It could be just me. It could just be the few songs that I heard. I'll try to finish that playlist that you gave me. But like I said, the thing is with me, the only time I really listen to music is when I'm in my car, when I'm driving to work, and I'm like 10, 15 minutes away from work. So that gives me time to listen to like, three songs or whatever. And then I go to the store that's 5, 10 minutes away. By the time I load it and stuff, I hear like one track and then I forget about it. And so I just need to get on a level where I can just sit down and play a whole thing. Probably like, put it on in the background, clean the house or something. So I just need to get on one of those levels. But I'll
yeah.
try. I'll keep it out. I'll try to finish the whole thing today.
Don, what you think?
About
Oh, how when you're in the mood for R&B.
oh, for me personally, I mean, I think I'm that's more of my bag as of recent. I think mainly because aside from a couple albums here and there in hip hop, I think there's better production in music in the R&B space. And like it isn't, the R&B we grew up with where it's like uh all just slow songs and groups and the singy songy stuff. Like it's got good production, it's got good vibes and bop that you can like ride to, you know what I mean? And if I'm being honest, it kind of like comes with like age. I'm not like an age person, or I'm not saying I'm old or anything like that, but I don't know, as you get older, like your musical taste kind of just differ a little bit. And like with the hip hop that's put out today, like I don't gravitate towards it. You know what I'm saying? Aside from Alchemist, Two Chains, and Larry June project, which is probably my favorite of the year so far. Like that's like I can ride to that every day of the week. But then everything else that's come out, it's like, it's just not, even Kendrick. I love the GNX album, but like I don't gravitate towards it because it's not really like my everyday just like lifestyle and vibe or whatever. So with R&B, like the ones we were mentioning, like I can get everything I need out of a Leon album. You know what I'm saying? Or an October London album. It has the slow R&B, but it's got like a good mix of like bop that I can like bob my head to. You know what I'm saying? Lucky Day, and I'm gonna keep mentioning him. Literally checks all the boxes for me. You know what I'm saying? Like
You like Candy Drip too?
that's probably yes, because fam, I love Candy Drip actually. The very first song on that, it like that one transitioning to the Lil Durk song, transitioning to NWA. Oh, that shit is a bop. Um no, I think I'm always in the mood for R&B because the R&B today kind of checks all the boxes that I need. It infuses hip hop, it infuses jazz, it infuses funk, it infuses neo soul. So yeah, I think I listen to that more because it just has every element that I need.
I think
I
I
feel
agree.
you.
I think um, I'm trying to think of if I categorize The Weeknd in that same
So
landscape
it's
because his latest album was better than his last couple albums, in my opinion. And that was because he went back to some of his old school, what we, knew him for. Like kind of just the like, to me, it's like perfect shower music for some reason. Like just chilling in the shower, hearing the melodic tones, hearing kind of like slow, watery beats and deep bass. And it's like I don't know, it's just to me it sounds dope. And
I was gonna say that because I was gonna mention that for an album that you need to listen to because you're right. He went back to his elements but he still gave you a little bit of everything else. He still gives you the poppy stuff that
exactly.
he's into now. But like his slow joints like Baptized in Fear, where he just like it's that like yeah, underwater, super dark tones, switches the beat up to give you some like trap and all that. Like Weeknd got in his bag on this album. I haven't stopped playing it for the past week. It's a really solid project.
Is this like
I'll
hella
have to check it
recent
out.
or something like that? Because
Like
the
last two
last thing
weeks,
I've heard
yeah.
from him was that whack ass again on the radio, but like the whack ass Timeless. They play Timeless
Oh,
like every 5 minutes, and
that
I'm
song
just
ain't
annoyed with
terrible,
it.
but no, it's came out the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, it came out 2 weeks ago,
Okay,
and it's a
okay.
very,
Hurry
very,
up tomorrow.
very yeah solid project. The very first song, "Wake Me Up," that's when you know, like, if you just hear the first song, you're like, oh, okay, I see where he's about to
That's an
take this.
expensive song.
It is, and it's a good album, man. Good album. I like the
Okay.
features. Production is fire. It hasn't left the rotation. It's honestly been that and the Alchemist album project. It's been those two. See, I'm not
I've been
joking.
bumping that one. Yeah, that one's good. I never really was the biggest Alchemist fan, and I certainly am not a Two Chains fan, but the Larry June aspect of it definitely allows it to be
I,
like
I, I, I,
Hey,
enjoyable
hey, hey.
music.
Yeah,
I
that's
feel
funny
like
because
I was actually surprised that it was good because I was starting to fall off on Larry June as far as he was starting to sound the same every time. And this kind of gave him a little extra something, a little extra motivation. I don't know if it was the Two Chains part. I don't know if it was, you know, what the camaraderie they had in the booth that day, but for something about it, it like rejuvenated him. He came off a little more pep in his step. It wasn't as slow and lethargic as some of his last stuff had sounded. So I was happy to hear it.
I'd want to know
yeah,
like how that conversation goes. Like, who said, "Hey, I want to pair Two Chains and Larry June"? Literally the complete opposites. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing about their styles that are similar or coexist at all. So I wonder what type of strain Alchemist was on when he was like, fam, I got the greatest idea. I'm gonna pair Larry June's non-melodic ass hella melatonin with 2 Chainz and his outlandish punch bars. You know what I'm saying? But it was a marriage that worked. And it's, fam, when I tell you it's an amazing project to me. They didn't miss.
Quincy, what were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say that's funny because I actually started. I was gonna say the same thing. Like I've never been a big 2 Chainz fan, but I actually listened to some of that when y'all were talking about in the chat and about the June and 2 Chainz Alchemist. I actually tried to peep it out because, like I said, I'm gonna start trying to peep out more stuff this year. And when I heard of it, I was like, okay, this is actually clean. I ain't mad about it. So I haven't listened to because I put it on. It was the YouTube one. So I put on the album, but it kept skipping like 2 different albums and stuff. So I haven't heard the whole album, the new album. But I heard a couple songs. I don't know I don't even know if it was from just that album, but but I was like, okay, it's clean. I like it. So I'm gonna, yeah, appreciate it. So yeah, like I said, when y'all talking about these artists, I'm gonna start playing it more. So
That's dope.
need to
That's
start
awesome.
writing them down and like, okay,
I
I'm
like
gonna
that.
peep out like that K Davis. I'm gonna after this over, I'm gonna put in the chat the names of these cats so I can and albums actually too. So I'm gonna give The Weeknd because I haven't played The Weeknd since his first album, and
House
I
of Blues
liked them
Thursday or one of those.
something like that, and
The
like
trilogy.
part of it, like part of me liked him and part of me didn't. It's just because it was just that auto-tune sound where I was like, I want to hear a real voice, not just the auto-tune stuff. But so I liked him at this, but part of me and then part of me is like, I got over it kind of quick. So I'll peep out the new album to see if it resonates.
Yeah, I think sometimes with these collaborations, what happens is they just happen to be in Atlanta at the same time, or they just happen to be coming through, Miami, and bam, there's DJ Khaled and Lil Wayne at the same time. But I was surprised because speaking of Lil Wayne, I felt like the 2 Chainz Lil Wayne album underdelivered, the College Grove, and I thought this overdelivered, of the mesh. Um, so I don't know what that is, but.
I'll be honest, I'm just pretty sick and tired of collaborations. I even hate the word collab. Like it sounds so Gen Z or Gen whatever the fuck it is, and like it's lazy. Like although there's a whole bunch of things that are lazy where we say like combo, for example, instead of combination. So maybe I'm just being like a hater, I guess, yet again. But I'm so tired of the collaborations because again, this one worked out in regards to Larry June and 2 Chainz, and sometimes like opposites attract or whatever the case may be. But a lot of times it's like, yo, like I'm going in just for this person alone. You have this other person added on, and it's like, yeah, I like this person's part. You start jumping in and talking your nonsense. I'm annoyed now. I need to skip to the next track. At least that's how I feel. And maybe I'm just impatient, but I don't like that. And then furthermore, going to the whole concept of collab, I'm sick and fucking tired. I like shoes and whatnot, but I'm sick and tired of all these collaboration shoes. Jordan played basketball. Okay, you got Jordans. I don't need to have another fucking Jordan and Travis Scott who just makes music. I don't need to have Jordan and Drake who just makes music. I don't need to have Jordan and some like Balenciaga fashion designer motherfucker. Like I don't need like the off-white concept. That was cool as well, but like it just gets so trash. Like I just want regular shoes that I can wear. Like I can go to the store, pick them up and wear them and be cool instead of like, oh my gosh, this is a such and such collab. They only have a
Well, I
thousand
think I
pairs,
think
and
Don
they're
talked
like,
about this a while ago that marketing nonsense works. So they're
It
gonna keep
does.
doing
I want to
It is
respond
because
really
it's
quick
not for
because
you.
this is actually that's actually a dope topic that I never really thought about. But I'm kind of in agreement with him in regards to the collaborations on music. I am kind of over. I think it's too much now that like there's too many wannabe collaborative albums. Now, with that being said, I don't mind the producer collab albums like an
oh
Alchemist
yeah, yeah,
because
yeah, yeah,
or
he's a
Hit
yeah.
Boy,
producer and he
Nas.
yeah like that like I don't
Yeah.
like those efforts, yes. But when you're talking about two artists that get together and collab, I actually agree with that. I never really thought about it, but yes, I tend to not go back to those albums because I don't want a full project of you two together. Now, if you do a small EP of like 3 or 4 songs, cool. But like, the 21 and Drake, it's cool, but I don't want 20 songs of you guys. Or, the Drake and P&D or anybody. Like, as much as I like Kendrick, if Kendrick did like a whole project with Ab Soul, I don't know if I'd love it. You know what I mean? Like, no, listen, I know, but I don't know if I'd love it. He's got a point. Like, I am kind of over the whole collaborative albums, aside from it being like a
But I
producer.
think that
Yeah.
I
Well,
think the reason is though because they're not like Jada Kiss and Styles. It's not a back and forth. It doesn't sound like there's camaraderie. Like even in that Drake Party Next Door album, it's like the beat switches and it's a whole new like. Did you just meld
well,
two tracks together
it's
because they're not doing the same thing
Well,
together in the same
you
booth?
know what it
it's
is. It's Drake writes his verse, sends it to Party, and then Party puts his spin on it, sends it back. Yeah, there's no. You can tell, like you said, like in the Styles and Jada example, they're in the booth together. They're smoking together.
Yeah.
They're writing together. They're feeding
I'm
off of
gonna
each
finish
other.
your line with my line, and we're gonna
Yeah,
like
even like Watch the Throne,
Yeah.
right? Like that was a collaborative album that worked because Jay and Ye were in the booth together, and that
exactly.
worked. They fed off of each other. Like
That's a true
Kanye,
collaboration.
Kanye
See,
got he went better because he's like, oh shit, I heard Hove, I gotta go kill Hove's verse, so he went better, and they gelled together. Those are the collaborations that make sense.
Yeah,
These like,
and to add to it as well, you got to think about like a lot of times it's more so they're doing like the opposite. It used to be you start off in a group, which the Locks was Jadakiss, Styles P, and
Big
Chic
Luch.
Luch or whatever. So yeah, they start up together, and so you got your introduction to them that way. So if you have an album of the two, you're used to that. Versus
yeah,
nowadays, it's like let me make myself someone special and then let me try to connect with this other person. By the time that you've connected with this other person, we've already like grown to adapt to the way your music is and so forth. So having it switched
yeah.
up with like another person kind of throws it off. And as Don mentioned, like the production way of it, where it's like, all right, I do my part, you do your part, I do my part, you do your part, separately, like where you got a track flying from Atlanta to LA and back and forth a couple of times before it becomes official, versus actually sitting in the booth together, coming up with like everything live at that moment. Definitely that plays a part in it, I'd imagine. I
yeah,
will say though, and maybe I'm being a little too overly obsessed with the anti-collaborationism or whatever, but if it's like a collab where you have like one person that does one thing specific, meaning rap music, and the person they're collabing with is doing like something, I don't know, like R&B, for example, that, and especially if they already have like a rapport. So even if it isn't like R&B and rap, but rap and rap, etc. Just like again the Locks example, okay, yeah, I'm used to them together. Method Man and Redman, used to them being together. If you had a collaboration, Kendrick and SZA, I could definitely enjoy like a full album of them. But again, if Kendrick and Drake, this was all promotional or whatever, and they end up making like a whole album, I'm not gonna like that. I'll probably like 2 or 3 tracks, and then another 2 or 3 tracks I'll like all of Kendrick's lines on it, and then another 3 tracks I'll like all of Drake's lines, but I won't like them together. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
fair.
Yeah.
I
That's
don't think
fair.
a Kendrick and
And I
SZA
feel
album would
like
hit because it would sound too much like a Ja Rule and Ashanti, and I don't think SZA is like
What?
just an Ashanti. Like I think SZA does more than just sing a hook.
Yeah, she has her own verse and stuff too. Yeah, like all the stars was perfect. You know what I mean? Like, uh,
But you want to hear 12 of them?
Yes.
so.
I
It's funny.
would,
Like
I
I
would,
was
I absolutely would.
I
Yes.
gotta be honest, Harold.
nah.
Don't
Well,
ever, don't you ever compare Kendrick and SZA to Ja Rule and Ashanti ever again. That was blasphemy. I gotta be
Blasphemy.
honest. That was
nah.
wild.
Now, I
That
was
was
gonna
wild.
say
Shoot.
it's like I forgot who said it. Like I was listening to somebody a little podcast, and they were equating like the Jada and Styles. It's like when they're together, it sounded like one person wrote it. There because they're feeding off each other, and they're to say it's like the same vibe, same person. And I don't know if it's like a generational gap where like, hey, they're in the same booth, they're in the same zone compared to like hey, I know you're in Miami, I'm in Atlanta, or I know you're in Texas, and I'm just gonna mail you this song, and you put your spin on it and do it over there. Nah, get your butt to the A. Let's do this together. Let's be in the same booth, same vibe, same sound. It's like they're what's his name? Nelly was saying that when he did that song "The Grills" with Paul Wall. Paul Wall was like, "Nah, just go ahead, and mail me the thing, and I'll do it." He's like, "Nah, if you don't come here and do this, you're not gonna get it. So you better come here, do this in my city, do this in my booth, do this
That's
with
right.
me." And that's how they got that dope track, because it would not have been the same track if he did that on his own and just, hey,
Like,
mailed
where's
them
the
a copy.
remote?
Oh, here you go. You're not. It's just
It's the
not.
vibe.
It's the vibe. It's like, you connect. You're not just putting out music to put out music. You putting out something that you care about and you love and you want to be. You want to be in that zone together. You want to be in that vibe. You want to feel that
Yeah.
person's energy. Like they said the same thing with Nelly, like with Nelly or not Nelly, Eminem, when Eminem was with Akon and Eminem was with this person, like they feed off the energy, they feed off to each other's vibe. They're not just like, hey, I'm just gonna sing you what I got, and here, go ahead, put it together and let me know when you're done.
Yeah. So you had mentioned Kanye and Jay-Z, right? And their little Watch the Throne. Supposedly there was going to be a Watch the Throne too, which I'm guessing now he kind of messed that up. But I mean,
Kanye
is
got
it?
crazy before they were able to come back and do like a number two. So yeah,
Yeah, like let me
simple
distance
enough.
myself from that a little bit. So
Yeah.
Brian, have you finally come to grips?
So here's the thing. Yes and no. Obviously, like I'm
That's a
still gonna,
no.
and I'm always gonna listen to like Kanye West music. Kanye Kardashian, not so much. Yay, absolutely not. I know that Bully's gonna come out, or maybe I don't know if it's gonna come out, but if Bully does come out, am I gonna
What's the
listen
era
to it?
considered of Kanye Kardashian? Like what music is that? Life of Pablo?
Yep, Life of Pablo's involved there, which I have. I'll listen to it, but I don't listen like go back to listen to it. Pretty much everything like from Yeezus on. Like Yeezus was still Kanye Kardashian, and even that wasn't the greatest, but like it was devolving to getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Um, I have his what's the like the gospel music and stuff like that. I got those albums and everything, and today's Sunday. I still have it on my phone, so if I pop it in the car and like decide to turn it on, yeah, I'll listen to that as I go to church. But yeah, I'm not. I don't know how to actually explain it because am I still a fan of him musically? Yes, but I think just like Don had mentioned multiple times in the past, just like his antics is just kind of like you just roll your eyes with it, and before I've been able to brush it off and stuff like that. But the stunts he's doing now, it's like all right, you're just begging to stay relevant. And there's a whole bunch of other things you could do that be relevant. It doesn't have to be shock value controversy bullshit like that. If you genuinely feel like you're a Nazi, that's cool. But be like most white people that are Nazis
That's
and
not
shut the
cool.
fuck up about it. Don't bring it up. I don't need to know about you like not liking Jewish people. Or I don't need to whatever the fuck it is, right? Like it's just it's the same thing with like all your heroes and your celebrities where it's like you don't want to know too much or you don't want to meet them in person and them end up like like disappointing you and stuff like that. It's like all right, Kanye, I love your music so much, so much, so much of it has like been like in my life with this or that, or if I feel in this mode, this mood, I can go to that song or that song and this and this and this. I enjoyed the fashion back in the day, wearing the pink polos and stuff. Ralph Lauren, I would still wear polo underwear to this day. You know what I mean? Like it's dope, and like that first introduction to like not nerd, but like kind of like the awkward black dude, not the like gangster rap. Like making it more like open for the masses or whatever. I think he had a great involvement there. So much things musically have been great. I still consider him a musical genius, but that genius and like the contributions he's been doing with that genius have whittled down now to where like he's not doing anything musically that's like so great. Now it's just like, all right, I want to stay relevant, so let me just give you my bipolar dumbass projections, predictions, or comments, etc. And so I lean more and more towards Barack Obama in the sense of him being a jackass. And as a result, I really can't vibe that much. So yes, Bully, if it ever does come out, I will give it a shot to see how it is, especially since Kanye Kardashian is no longer Kanye Kardashian, but he is like yay, anti-Semite yay, and so the music probably is gonna be trash still. So that's how I feel.
Don, what you think?
It's
I
very
think I know what you
simple.
think, but
It's very simple for me. I am officially done with this man. I
wow.
can't anymore. I can't. He sold a swastika T-shirt. Like, what are we
Yeah,
talking about at this point? The thing that I hate that everyone keeps putting on him, and I mean everyone's saying it and they have to, is he's trying to stay relevant. Fine, you were Kanye West. You don't have to do this to be relevant. you can
exactly.
you
Yeah,
can you can like, you want to be relevant, be dumb, like put out a song dissing like the industry, or get online, and I don't, you don't have to do the stuff you're doing. You're Kanye West, bro. Like, there's ways to be relevant without attacking an entire group of people. And it's like constant attacking. It's not even one thing. It's constant after constant. Oh, how can I make it even worse than last time? Let me put out a white t-shirt with a black swastika, like in plain as day. Oh, how, let me go to the number one like Jewish community and continuously just berate them left and right. You can't hold me, bro. I'm the dog. He sounds so stupid. And then in addition to that, the music he is putting out isn't even good, and it makes it even worse because you're looking at him like, bro, I can't even enjoy the music even if it was good. He just put out that song with Ty Dolla Sign. I feel bad for Ty Dolla Sign because now you're tied to this BS. I can't even enjoy Ty Dolla Sign music because you got Kanye in the back looking absolutely stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think he's ruining everything he touches. His poor wife Bianca, she is actually cute, and I'm sure she has a career. He's ruining her career with his antics. You know what I mean? Like, everything he's touching is not going well, and it looks bad in the light. I Bro, there's too much good music out there, too many good artists for me to ever give him any brain power to like listen to him. Yay, I'm officially done. When Bully comes out, I can promise you I'm not pressing play on it. I don't even have like the ounce of what's the word I'm looking for? I don't even want to, I don't care what it sounds like. I don't care. I don't care if you tell me it's the best album he put out in a decade. Shout out to you. It doesn't matter. I'm officially done, bro. He's waxing me. He's out of here.
Wow.
So
understandable.
I feel you.
Go ahead, Quincy.
I'll put it this way. I've been done with Kanye for a minute, for a few years, whatever. So I'm not even sweating it. So it's been a wrap already. So I feel you 100. I'll play devil's advocate for a second, and not to condone anything he's doing or saying, just to say that it's crazy to think that it'll take this for him to demonized, to talk about one community like the Jewish community, when historically black people have been hating on black people for years, and we love them for it. We celebrate them for calling us N-words, this and that, killing each other, shooting at each other, promoting gangs, promoting violence. We love that when we talking about black people, and we celebrate it and condone it. That's what the whole industry is pressing against and pushing forward. But as soon as we talk about people of another community, that's when we get mad at them. Like the deprecating this self hate against I hate that aspect of it. I hate it, the fact that it takes for him to talk about this community for us to say enough's enough with them. That's what I'll say on that. But other than that, like I said, I haven't felt his music in years. I haven't felt anything he had to say in years. So this antic doesn't change anything for me because I already gave up on him years ago. So, but I think it's extra stupid for sure. And
So
the
my
fact that
my
he,
my quick question, because I won't go back and forth. My quick question is, when have you ever heard Kanye say everything you just said? You said that like you don't like how black people put other black people down, but Kanye has never talked about killing black people. He's never talked about
I'm not
racially.
saying him in general.
But
I'm
but
just saying
but
in general. I'm not saying
but that doesn't correlate with Kanye though. Like that example doesn't correlate with why people don't like Kanye West. Kanye West he's never said any of the stuff you mentioned. So it's not that all of a sudden we're mad because he did this. No, we're mad because you started going crazy. Not even just on Jewish people. He's been just spiraling in all aspects. The
He
only reason why I
did
don't like
say
that
that.
example is because Kanye West himself has never said, I'm killing this, I'm killing that, blah blah blah." He's never done that. So I
He
just don't
did
like.
say
no, I feel
slavery was
you,
a choice, and that was kind of
I
like
didn't really mean to revelate it
anti-black.
to him to say that he did it. I'm just saying in general that we have to wait to this to say something. Like we're putting it out on him for this community, even though yeah, maybe a bad example because he didn't do it, but that's has been rap for the last decade plus. Rap music, hip hop, they started off in a positive way, try to uplift, and it turned into the gangster, turned into this, turned into that, which I unfortunately we still listen to. We listen to it is what it is. It's part of the quote unquote culture now. But like I said, he hasn't necessarily done it, but that has been the core of music for a long time. I just feel that same with like the movie industry, same with this and that. Like once you talk about one community, that's when you want to get canceled. Same thing with like Lil Nick Cannon. He same with the Kyrie. Like once you bought this book, we mad at him for reading this book, but we ain't mad at Amazon for selling this book. We mad at Kanye for or Nick Cannon for telling the truth, but not mad at other people for making it
I get
truthful.
what you're saying,
I'm
and
just
it's
saying.
just I get what you're saying, but it's just that it's a factor that it's okay to talk down on black people, and I say it's okay in the sense of like entertainment wise. Now I don't know if it's like I'm not trying to get canceled or say it's a conspiracy because Jewish people run the entertainment industry. So if you go against Jewish people, they're gonna cancel you or whatever. Whereas you can talk all this stuff like you said in rap music and movies and stuff where you like everybody that's black, you got to play a drug dealer every time that uh someone has to have like rap. You have to have rap beefs, like because you have rap beefs. Where else do you have beefs? Like country music, pop music or whatever. You may have artists that don't get along with each other, but they don't make songs dissing one another. So yeah, I see how they allow stuff like that in the black community, and that's just unfortunately that's just what's allowed. Should it be? No. And do people like point it out at times? Yep. But then like the next thing or next album out, same goes around, and we still buy and
Yeah,
listening to it. So it is what it is. But I think that's a
exactly. It's
separate subject
gravitates
as
towards it.
opposed to
That's human
the
nature.
Kanye aspect.
So
But
I'll
nah, I
table
was
that
just
for
saying
another
that.
time. I disagree a lot, but we'll table that for another time for the sake of time.
let me share my thoughts real quick because I was torn with almost like giving him like a recommendation of, well, what should you be doing? And because I feel like, one of the things me and my wife were talking about was he doesn't need to do this as far as make music forever. Like, you don't need to be an artist into your late 40s, 50s, 60s. Like, there's no reason why Snoop should have put out another album. Like, at a certain point, you
Yeah.
can move on to something else. And it seemed like he tried to do that. He tried to do, the businessman thing. And that's where he made his billions. He did the fashion thing. And, he's been controversial in that. He's got a God complex now because he went and created his own church, which became kind of cultish. But like he's done all these other different avenues and he's sharing his feelings and expressing himself outside of rap, which we don't necessarily like. It's like, oh, okay, that's how you really feel. Well, maybe we need to tone that down a notch. Or, but it's like if you really still want to be connected to music, I don't get it because you don't need to do this forever. There's no money in it. Like you made your money outside of music, doing music now, even trying to like he tried to sell his like USB thumb drive mix board things to try to make it like art with his Donda 2. Like that didn't really work. Like so there's only so many things you can do with music and it's not profitable through streaming anymore. So like why are you still want to be there unless you become like a Hit Boy or like a Timbaland, a Swiss Beats that kind of does collaborations with people. And so maybe you could just be the producer in the background because like Don was saying, it ain't like he's coming up with dope fire music where he's the super producer
Yeah,
that can also rap because his raps are coming off as just
Yeah,
mumbles.
he's addicted to the attention, and he just wants to do anything and everything. Again, I know that Don doesn't like it, but he just does it to stay relevant. Like, like some people, it's just like the same fact that we have like old ASS, Donald Trump, old ASS, Joe Biden, old ASS, not Lindsey Graham, but whatever the motherfucker is that looks like the turtle or whatever. Like
McConnell.
all them old ASS politicians. Like you're old. You're old. You have all the money you need. Like you could get more money, but there's no reason for you to still be in politics. And it's because of that power. It's because like they have a say or they have a relevancy. And like to an extent, there's something in that nature with Kanye. Like, yes, he doesn't have to do music, but that's the one thing that got him through the door. So it's like, all right, if all these antics, all this, all that doesn't fall or doesn't work out, at least I know I have my stands like Brian that will go and like buy my music or download my music or whatever the fuck it may be, just to like, still have something to say or be out there so that people are aware of him. And it's like, not again, you don't need to do that. Sit back in the cut, relax, like enjoy your millions, enjoy your wife, enjoy your kids. Like, but no, like there's
See,
some
but here's
obsession that some people have, I feel, with fame, and he's one of those. And now it's just kind of like, all right, let me just take shots in the dark everywhere, just trying to find some way to stay relevant. Oh, I know I can do music, but let me do music with the twist. Let me, make this album, then come out with another album or come out with another version of the album. And oh, let me make this with digital currency. And oh, like just reaching and reaching, reaching, which also is added to the annoyance. But going back to it, yeah, like, even when you're talking with your wife, where he doesn't have to do that, he also doesn't have to, or he doesn't have to do the things that he does to stay relevant. Like, why can't he, with his money, donate it to the Flint water crisis and like fix that up or whatever, or, you know, instead of being
philanthropy
anti-Semitic, be
hustle.
like full positive Semitic or pro-Semitic, where it's like, all right, yeah, like we love Jewish people and we need to stop the hate and stop this, stop that. Like, obviously, it's easier to have more shock value and all that when it's negative stuff, but he could certainly do positive things as well. So at this point, for me, like,
Well, the next thing he's
you
going to
know,
do is
uh,
jump into the adult film industry. You know that probably because he
as
said
much as
he's
he's
a
all into
huge
porn and stuff like
advocate.
that, I guess so. It's
But here's the
I don't
thing
know.
though. So, because I want to say that to one degree or another, you've all stated that you would probably boycott like maybe the Diddy music. You would boycott R. Kelly. Like, what would make you boycott Kanye finally? Because it sounds like no matter what, you're still riding with Kanye and his music, which means you support him, which means like you don't care about the messaging that he puts out. Like, what would it take for
So
you to
here's
stand up and say, you know what, fuck it. Like, it's not worth the maybe few slaps he comes out with for all the.
so I'll speak first, just to get straight to the point and simple, because one, like, uh I don't know who you're talking about, or if you're talking about all of us in regards to that boycott thing, because there's not one artist I can think of to this day that I'm like, yeah, I'm not listening to their music. Like Diddy, take that, yeah, I'm gonna still listen to Diddy. R. Kelly, yes, I still listen to R. Kelly. Like, if I even listened to whack ass ass country, I'd still listen to Morgan Wallen. I mean, I am a strong proponent of like separating the artist from the art. Still listen to Prince, still listen to Michael Jackson, still listen to, whoever else you want to throw in there. And I think the main reason why I'm a proponent in that sense of separating the two is because if you're not, or if you are going to separate, then if you're going to be about that life, for me, I'm on the extremes. Either you're 100% committed or you're not. Not to change the subject or not to like hate on anybody and this is just me. But for example, when you got some people out there, and I say some specifically because again, I'm not trying to point at fingers at anybody on this chat or whatever, but when you have some people and they're like, yeah, I'm vegan, I'm like, all right, cool, be vegan, be about that life. But then when I see them rocking like, leather shoes and leather this and, all sorts of products that are from animals, it's like, so are you vegan or do you have a vegan diet? That's two different things. And again, either one's perfectly fine. And so the same thing with music. If you're like, all right, yeah, like this dude, he went to jail for so on and so forth, like, uh, I'm not going to listen to his music anymore. One, music he's already made, so he's already made money off of it. Not to mention, it's not like I'm buying these people's music, because on occasion I do happen to share music, quote unquote, we'll say that. Same thing with movies, like you got this dude that had like, the producer's room or the producer's couch and stuff like that, like real life porn setup situations. And, he made all these classic movies. He made those movies. He's not still making movies. He's already in jail getting the punishment, so on and so forth. Am I not going to watch any Harvey Weinstein produced movies? No, I absolutely am. So, again, for me, and again, that's just me, I don't plan on boycotting Kanye's music. I don't plan on boycotting any of the people else that I've encountered or came about music. Hell, like I still rep Kobe Bryant, like like basketball player, like GOAT, all that. Despite the fact that the motherfucker like was on trial for or was accused of SA, and so it's for me, yeah. I'm not saying nothing could change my mind, like but as long as I enjoy the music of the person, or the content, whatever they're doing, I'm probably still gonna stick with it. I mean, like I find that separation, and I'm comfortable with that separation of the two.
So, all right, cool. I'll be quick. So I never said anything as far as quote unquote boycott. I never quote unquote boycott anything or anyone. Will I listen to any other new stuff from Kanye? No. Would I play some, back in the day stuff? Yeah, I'm not going to turn on them. I like, The Graduate, all that stuff, Late Registration. If that comes on, am I going to play it? Yeah, I'm not going to skip the track if this come on. Cool. So I have nothing against the old school stuff. Same with other artists that's been in jail that does stuff. So I'm on the same level as Brian for the most part. Like, am I listening to their old stuff? If it plays, cool. Am I listening to anything new if they come out? Probably not. But that doesn't mean I'm boycotting them. It just means like, hey, I'm just not feeling them. And not because of what he said now. It's like I said earlier, I haven't really been messing with Kanye for the last few years because I haven't really liked any of the music he came out with the last few years. So it's not because he did this or said this or did that. It's just because he's an artist that I transitioned past.
Let me
Like I
just jump
said,
in here before Don, because I agree that it's a tough situation, but I think for me it's becoming more easier, and I think it's as I get older, trying to be more decided with how I spend my money, with the brands that I support, with the people that I support, outwardly especially. And I think in general, boycotts are difficult and they're hard, especially for the masses to do, because of that convenience, you know, and because of the sacrifice it takes in many ways to like run away or not do what everybody else is doing. So people always equate it to like losing a freedom, or like they like this entitlement to like why should I have to stop doing this because they didn't do me wrong specifically. I think when you talk about Walmart, you talk about Nike and their sweatshops and how they take advantage of people. People are like, oh, I'm not gonna shop at Walmart anymore. Some people are like, where else am I gonna go? The only place that's open at 10 o'clock is Walmart, so I guess they got my money. Hey, it's $2 cheaper at Walmart, so I guess I'm gonna go there. I can't stop the sweatshops. It's bigger than me, so I'm not gonna do anything about it. And the same thing with Target. They're stopping their DEI thing and they're being anti-black and having shirts in there that depict us in certain ways. But hey, it's all for like a gimmick for, hey, we're celebrating Black History Month by showing black people in this way. Like, I don't know. Like, so it's easy to say that you don't want to take a stand to get certain things versus saying, no, I'm going to go for the alternative. I'm going to find a small business to support. I'm going to, not listen to Kanye, or I'm not going to listen to certain artists because it reinforces the programming that they end up doing to say that this is okay or normalized. So I'm trying more and more to be more decided with what I choose not to support and what I choose to boycott.
Yeah. On the musical
So go ahead.
on the musical side of boycotting, it's easier for me because yes, I try to do my best to separate the artist from the art until it becomes like conjoined together. R. Kelly, for a prime example. Yes, when he first started putting out music, it was amazing until we learned that a lot of the stuff he was talking about was with underage women. So now when you're saying it seems like you're ready, like we know that he was talking about a 13-year-old girl. When
I
he's
gotta cut
talking
you off
about
real quick. I gotta cut you off real quick just to ask a question. When did we learn?
when we saw the video of him pissing on a 14-year-old girl.
So did you stop listening to R. Kelly at that point?
100%. And you can ask
Okay.
anybody around me. Yes, I did.
Salute to you then. Thank you. Okay.
Yes, I
Continue.
did. So yeah, so again, when the song, your vibe, your body's calling me, you got that vibe, all this, and then you even start hearing later on when he's like in the end of that song, Aaliyah's got that vibe. Aaliyah was 13 years old. Like my point with R. Kelly specifically, everything we learned and then saw and then found out and then he was convicted of, yes, once his art has now become the artist and it is disgusting. It was even before I had Taylor. It's like seeing how bad it was and how much he like treated underage women and did all that nasty shit. Yes, I can comfortably say I'm never gonna listen to a R. Kelly project again. And again, there's so many other artists out there and so much other music that like I'm not like losing out on it. You know what I mean? Kind of the way what
I
Harold
got
was
you. Yeah,
saying
yeah.
that was like, oh, I can't shop at Target, or but I love Target, I'm missing out on Target, or things like that. Like I'm not missing out on R. Kelly music because there's so much music out there. Fast
Word.
forward to Ye. There's so much music out there. I don't need to listen to Ye for me to feel like, oh, I'm missing out on College Dropout. It's a great album. It's a beautiful moment. But now again with Kanye, like the art and the artist have kind of unfortunately conjoined together. So now when I listen to him, I can't. All I can think about is how ridiculous he is. Not just like on Twitter, but like in interviews or like just the masses of everything he's done.
The
Like it's
rollout.
conjoined now. I can't unhear or unsee his swastika t-shirts or his what was the last t-shirt he did with like White Lives Matter during the Black Lives Matter movement?
Him and
Like,
Candace
bro,
Owens.
I get with Candace Owens, bro, I can't unsee that. Like, so now like it doesn't matter how fire My Dark Twisted Fantasy is, all I can't unsee or unhear what he does. So for me, boycotting that is very easy. You know what I mean? Now with Diddy, that in itself, that's fairly new, that's fresh, right? So like you guys know I loved that Love album. I said it, that Love album to me was an absolute classic. And then months later we see him beating the shit out of Cassie in a video. That's troublesome because now it's like, again, that art that he created talking about love has now conjoined with the artist that is completely against love. We saw him physically abusing and beating Cassie up. So like, how can I go listen to this Love album knowing that he did that? I don't even care the stuff he's on trial for. Like, or I mean, it is because it's sex trafficking, but all like the Diddy tapes and he was messing with, I don't even care about that. If he was getting his stuff off with dudes, whatever, that's his bag. I don't care. The sex trafficking, I'm not going to say anything until he's found guilty. I stand on that. We don't know about the trafficking and all that. What I do know is that he was physically beating the mess out of Cassie. We saw it. So now I can't listen to a Love album by Diddy knowing that he did that. To me,
Is that
that's
not
easy.
love?
That's how.
It's being a, no, I'm playing. No, I'm just messing
What do you
with
say?
you.
You
I was
talk
gonna say,
about
is
Tina
that not
Turner,
love?
Ike Turner stuff, but so Brian,
Like,
then
I feel you. Like, I respect everything you said, and I feel you. So, and when I say that if I hear like College Dropout or what have you, I'll listen to, like, I'm not seeking it out. I'm not like, hey, I'm about to go grab this album and play it. But if I'm on Pandora and what the track that falls, whatever, waterfalls, whatever, I can't even think of the name
All
of the
falls
track right
down.
now. Yeah, all falls down. That track, if it comes on, I'm not gonna skip it.
you
But
put a
like I said,
thumbs
I'm
down
not
and it
going out my
skips.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going out my way to like play his stuff because you're right. You're 100%. There's plenty of artists. There's plenty of better artists. Other artists I like more than him. He's not even in my top 10. So there's other artists that I will seek out and play. So I'm not seeking them out. But like I said, if the song comes on, I'm probably not going to skip it. Is what I'm
You know what?
saying.
It's the way I'm saying is this is like I don't go out of my way to like publicly like no more Kanye. It's not in my air. It's not my realm anymore. It's not my zone.
Yeah.
If I create a playlist, I don't put Kanye West music on it. I don't listen.
Okay.
I don't put myself in a scenario to where I'm listening to the music. When I say boycott, like I'm not. I'm not checking for it. It's not in my Rolodex anymore, my mental Rolodex. With R. Kelly, that is, if it comes on, I press next immediately. I just can't do it. It grosses me out. It legit grosses me out listening to R. Kelly music now. Now, in really quick, in Harold's example in terms of like everyday life, that's a little different because, like, people say, oh, I don't like Chick-fil-A, the owner's views on gay marriage. I'm gonna go tear that chicken sandwich up because, like, it's not even, number one, he's not saying anything outlandish. That's just his opinion. Now, here, that's the biggest thing. I don't mind if you have an outlandish opinion. I don't like Donald Trump because I don't like his opinions. You know what I'm saying? But he's not out there, like, in a sense, doing like Kanye or doing like, you know, well, let me say this. It hasn't been like confirmed, right? Like doing R. Kelly stuff, the underage women or anything like that. Now he's trash in what he says, but that's his opinion and he lives it and he stands it. I don't have to agree with it, but I don't necessarily hate it the way like a Ye does, where he's like deliberately trying to like diminish people or diminish things of that nature. So like in that example, with like the Chick-fil-A owner or like the Jimmy John's owner, how he goes and like, shoots animals and kills animals and stuff like that. Do I agree with it?
Trophy.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I'm not gonna stop eating the sandwiches because of his lifestyle. You know what I mean? Like he's authentically himself, and I don't agree with it, but it is what it is. So in our everyday life, it is a lot tougher. Like Nike with the sweatshops, like you said, that's above our pay grade. That's gonna happen regardless if I wear the shoes or not. Every single shoe uses sweatshop. So at some point, it's like, what are we supposed to do with that? Reebok, Adidas, New Balance, they all use those factories. That's something that's beyond us, and that just needs to like change in totality. You know what I mean? So that's a little different from like boycotting music and stuff.
What? So you guys both went through the idea of, say you were gonna, again, if we're still on the Kanye topic, if you were gonna boycott Kanye, is there a difference between boycotting new Kanye, aka the Bully album, Vultures 3, whatever he wants to come out with, versus boycotting College Dropout, Late Registration,
I can
My
answer
Dark?
that very quick. Like I like kind of like I'll reiterate it. To me, I can't listen to his music now, old or new, because again, I I just, number one, I don't need to, and number two, I don't. The thing with College Dropout, we felt it. We felt not just the beats and all that, but we felt what he was saying. It was new. It was fresh. Dark Twisted Fantasy, 808s and Heartbreak. Like you felt Kanye as the artist, what he was going through, and not that time. Now, because I don't feel the artist, and I feel like a lot of what he said it says is bullshit. I don't know if I would enjoy the music the same. Like it just doesn't hit the same anymore. So it's easier for me to boycott. And even if, I'm not the biggest fan of that word, but sure, to boycott his music because I just don't feel Kanye the artist. And if I don't feel Kanye the artist, it's easy for me to like just shut out the art then.
I think with the exception of Donda 2, you cut all his projects mid, so it's easy to boycott mid.
Well, yeah, like especially like once after like Life After Pablo, because I'm in that minority that actually liked Yeezus a lot. I dug Yeezus, especially because I went to the Yeezus tour. So seeing it in person, I appreciated at the time the album so much more. So I'm in the minority to say I like that album a lot. So for me, the fall off was Life of Pablo, because after Life of Pablo, that's when it. Because I didn't even like Life of Pablo that much.
And that's why Jesus was the best one. Yeah, Jesus, and then everything after that. Well, I wouldn't say everything after that, but yeah, not great.
Yeah, so it's tough for me because yes, Graduation, College Dropout, uh, Dark Twisted Fantasy, 808s, like Late Registration, those are certifiable classics. But it's hard for me to enjoy that because the Kanye of now is ruining the Kanye of then for me.
I
You want
feel
to
you.
close us out, Brian?
What up?
You want to have the final thought on that one?
No final thought. Like I respect everybody's opinions, and so like I don't have anything against Don for not like wanting to listen to different music, because he explained it real eloquently in the sense of like, yo, like I just can't I can't make or mask that separation, and similar to what Quincy said, it's not like I'm seeking out new R. Kelly music or like, ah man, I'm in an R&B vibe, let me go back and look, oh hey, there's that R. Kelly, like uh I can't Black Panties or whatever. Like, oh, let me listen to that. Sexual. Like if I'm in the mood for a certain type of music, yeah, I can think of like R. Kelly songs that might be dope. But then at the same time, because there's a plethora of music out there, there's a whole bunch of other artists I could go to as well. So I definitely understand that in the sense of like, all right, I don't need to. I can easily boycott him because I don't need to like go back and listen to the old music. But also, like Quincy said, I'm not out there seeking out the music. But if I'm in the car and like they start playing Ignition, yeah, I'm not gonna turn that off. Honestly, I'm not even listening to the lyrics. So like, and now if I'm like on the oldies station or something like that, and they play like Bump and Grind, obviously I can envision like, okay, there's R. Kelly, he's like gyrating and whatnot. Oh, there's a little girl. That seems a little weird. Yeah, like I probably wouldn't listen to that still. Maybe I change the station, but I'm not proactively seeking to like, oh, they just played this. Let me switch the track. Let me switch this. Let me switch that. And it actually it I it it
I
it,
think
it,
it's a
it,
dangerous game if you start trying to play the purity test with certain artists. But
well, exactly. And like again, there's
but
different there's different things. Again, like knowing now, and not only like after when the video came out, but after the video came out, and then the documentary came out years later, and then after the documentary came out, the charges were filed. And so as time has progressed, we've learned more about R. Kelly, and so all that information we know, if you were to go back and listen to the lyrics and like you could say, oh, dang, those lyrics didn't age well. Just like the same thing with Drake and like the stuff or whatever, where like, they'll show little clips of like, oh, he had this song like teenage love affair, teenage, it's like, oh, like she's young, but then like whatever. And like they'll just like have little clips of his songs being like, oh, what were you talking about, Drake? I mean, so you can start thinking and equate those things to like what happens. And then also, again, if you have footage of Diddy like beating some girl, but yet he's gonna have an album talking about love and everything. I can see, yeah, you can put those things together and not necessarily, you know, uh, uh, be comfortable listening to that music or listening to those parties anymore. But also, and going back to what Harold was just mentioning, it's kind of hard to like, discipline yourself from one person to another person, and like choosing what not to listen to and what not to listen to, because at the end of the day, it's all about what we know. We know because we saw the video evidence, or we know because like, the trials and so on and so forth. How many people have done things that we don't know about or that we do hear rumors about? I'm not saying this occurred, but there have been rumors about Jay-Z and some, underage
yeah,
things
but
as well.
you don't ever say I'm not going to discipline this person because we don't know, but all the other things that other people could be doing. The what about this? What about that? So I'm just not going to act. It's like that's not the solution either.
It's not saying I'm not going to act, but it's like, all right, yeah, like, again, they're what do they say? Innocent until proven guilty. So
But
there's rumors
even when
for
guilty, I
any and
still don't give a.
no, there's rumors for any and everyone out there, and so it's like, all right, then like, are you just gonna be like, all right, I'm just not gonna listen to anybody because I don't know their political background, I don't know their history, their racism, their sexuality, etc. I'm not gonna listen to anybody except for like local people I know. Okay, yeah, I went to high school with this dude, and this dude like makes rap music. Okay, I'm just gonna listen to their rap music. You could say that, and you could actually do that, only to find out you don't know this person's entire life. Everybody has some dirt. Everybody has some going on. So it's really just a matter of like, you need to make that judgment about what you're willing to accept, what you're not willing to accept, and what you're going to support, I guess, whatever. You know what I mean? And like, for everybody that you support that like someone's going to complain about, again, I listen to Kanye West music. If there's going to be some, I have Jewish friends and stuff like that. I hate to sound cliche saying that thing, but like, if I have somebody that's going to get mad at me, like saying like, oh, like, like I'm disappointed you, Brian, because you listen to Kanye West. Like, I listen to him. I'm not buying out. I'm not buying his swastika shirt. I'm not telling everybody else, no, like forgive him. Da da da. Yeah, anybody's opinions or anybody's feelings they have on him, that's fine, and I totally acknowledge it. I'm not supporting him in the sense of like, oh yeah, like let's promote him or
promote his negativity, I'll be the first one to admit I think he's again a jackass, and he has problems and issues that doesn't justify what he's done. So that's not great. But if I'm in the mood and I want to listen to College Dropout, or hell, if I want to listen to Bully just to see if it is worth the shot when it comes out, I still am. And at the same time, if someone's going to get mad at me about that, it's like, all right, cool. What are you listening to, person? And if I really wanted to take the time and the energy, I would find out or seek to find out, oh, okay, you like that person? That person did XYZ, right? I'm ashamed you like that person for XYZ. I mean, because again, you can do that with pretty much anything and everything. So, you just got to pick your battles and make your choices to what you're going to support, what you're not going to support.
Alrighty.